Yes, my darling. So we started this journey rather on Afternoon Express on Tuesday with Jaco Brandt, where he showed us how to make pasta from scratch, first of all, and how to roll it, all right? And now today we decided to bring Silvana in, who's got a couple of different other recipes to share with us, but also techniques on how to cut your pasta and different ways to pair it in terms of flavor. So maybe you should take it away, Silvana, show us exactly how we get started.
We will start to unroll this one, which is already been pre-boiled, okay? Like this is easier, and if you want to do that in advance, it's gonna save your time. We're gonna cut the pappardelle like that.
So this is fresh pasta. It's not store-bought pasta, meaning that it cooks quicker. So people mustn't be shocked what we've got here. It literally is just the normal plain pasta. It's just freshly made, and Silvana's showing us different ways to cut it and so forth.
And on that note, with the different ways of cutting it, Silvana, I just get a little puzzled when it comes to what type of pasta is what to name it, from fettuccine to pappardelle, and I believe there's a third one that's also very similar in thickness. Is it tagliatelle?
Tagliatelle, you have a few different types of tagliatelle. In fact, if you go to Bologna, in Bologna, the tagliatelle bolognese, they must be just 12 millimeter, because if they're wider or thinner, they don't like it, because they've invented that size.
But for today, we're making a delicious pea and pancetta pappardelle. So what do we need for it? I know on my side, I've got the pancetta and I've also got the Parmesan cheese.
So we need to put on the pan, and then we're going to need some olive oil.
Now, Silvana, while you're doing that, I just want to mention, I've started chopping up some onions for this, right? So these are part of your base for your recipe. We've got some onion, we've got some basil, we've also got some frozen peas that are going into your recipe as well. And it's quite a simple recipe, salt, pepper, cream.
Yes, very simple, very simple. So I'm going to add a bit of onion.
And I hope I'm chopping up my pancetta correctly. I'm just doing small little pieces here. You followed your parents' footsteps?
Yeah.
So talk to us about that journey and how they inspired you.
Okay, when I was little, I used to help my mom and my grandfather. They used to have like a small trattoria. They used to call it cantina in those days, because you could have, may I?
Yes.
Yeah. You could have a glass of wine and a plate of pasta. I grew up with them in the kitchen, and we were cooking every single day. My mom, she was giving me a small stool which I had to climb, and she started to teach me how to clean fish and how to clean the calamari, and she gave me a scissors. She put me close to the top, and I had to clean the prawns and all that. So I grew up in the kitchen at the restaurant with them.
Oh, wow.
But it was mainly old traditional Napolitan food. So very old recipe, you know, very rustic food.
So all the way from your mom's kitchen to our kitchen here at Afternoon Express, we're doing quite well when it comes to our first dish of the day. You've already placed in the peas into your olive oil and onion mixture. You've also added the pancetta in there, and it's all simmering together.
Yes, it's all simmering together. Not for long, because otherwise the pancetta is going to become too crispy, and it's going to change the flavor of the sauce. Okay. So we're going to put some salt.
And I also see that you opted for some frozen peas.
Yes, because sometimes the fresh peas, they're too hard, and then it's not so easy to digest. I prefer the frozen to the can. I don't know. I prefer the frozen.
I agree with you, because I feel like the ones that are in the can, because they're so already cooked so much, you find that they'll break down much further, and you don't want the mush. You want them to still maintain their shape.
Yes.
So the frozen ones work better, especially because you cook them directly from frozen.
Yes. Yes.
Right. I also just want to ask you, Silvana, you're using pancetta in this recipe, because I know that with a lot of Italian recipes as well, they do use bacon. Is there a difference between the two, or?
Yeah, the flavor. The bacon, it's always slightly smoked, so it's changing, and then it's completely different flavor. But you can use. The bacon is a bit more, the fat is a bit more intense. but you can use, not a problem.
So, Silvana, you have added now the star of the day.
Yes.
What we are centering our entire masterclass over, and that is the pasta. Now, the timing of pasta is everything. I know that you prepare pasta al dente.
Yes.
That is quite different to, I suppose, Fumi, how us South Africans prepare pasta. We seem to overcook it all the time.
Yes.
Now, when you talk about al dente, I learned on Tuesday, it's to the tooth. Now, how hard or soft is that?
Okay, it must be a little bit white inside. Is that off? Yeah? It must be a little bit white. When you break the pasta, when you taste the pasta, it must be a little bit white inside still.
Chef Yaku showed us or spoke to us and told us that when you're making fresh pasta, the whole idea is that because you're making it fresh, it cooks much quicker. As quick as 2 minutes. So once you've made it, if you're not going to be drying it, then that's fine. You can cook it immediately. But the whole idea is because it's fresh, it cooks much quicker. Instead, like literally, you've just added the pasta into the dish and already it's cooked.
Yeah, it's cooked. It's cooked.
All right, and this is our pappardelle that has our green peas in there. We've also got some pancetta. We've got some basil, some onion. We've just seasoned it with some salt and pepper. And then we finished everything off with some cream. If we were not using cream, could we use a different dairy product, perhaps like a ricotta? Could we use mascarpone?
You can use mascarpone. Mascarpone, it's slightly heavier, so you can use less. But what you have to do with mascarpone, you have to put it just a little bit less than cream, because otherwise it's going to be very, very rich.
And what's your take on cooking pasta with milk?
You can cook pasta with milk, but you have to be careful, otherwise it's going to be watery.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, voila.
And I think we're going to finish it off with that beautiful parmesan that you just grated up for us, Balisa. And that's the one thing. So we're finishing off with parmesan. We also were having a bit of a quiz, Balisa, you and I, where we learned that the two main cheeses that pasta gets served with is pecorino and parmesan. Is that correct? Silvana?
Yes, you can mix the two of them in certain dishes. If you do a carbonara, definitely you need pecorino. Okay. You cannot do carbonara without pecorino because it gives, it's very salty. Pecorino is very salty.
Okay.
Depends where it comes from. If it comes from Roma, pecorino romano di Roma, it's a bit salty, so that's why you mix with parmesan, and it gives completely different taste to your tagliatelle alla carbonara or penne alla carbonara, whatever. It's completely different. But by mixing the two of them, you obtain a delicious sauce.
What else is next after this?
Next, we're going to do gnocchi with a mushroom sauce and basilico as well. And later on, we're going to do ravioli stuffed with ricotta and figs.